some of the point outs of why I feel like the FIA have to do a better job. Good morning, Wolfpack family. Good morning, Mary Beanie. Good morning, Duchess. Nice to see you all here. I see you, Nall, at the top of there. What's going on, Nall? What's up, Sean? What's up, everybody? So we're gonna go over some information. First, let's go over to the actual. Let's go ahead and head over to and check out the actual numbers on the petition, okay? And then we're gonna get into the ghastly bit. So something that's very important. Many people have asked me, not only people that may or may not be positive, but many negative people. Like you're gonna get this negativity. You're gonna have a bombardment of people. Big love from the UK. UK, like that's like shit. That's becoming like my second family for real. Like big shout out to you all. There were a lot of people when I first started doing content that told me I wouldn't be able to do it. Told me I wouldn't even have 1,000, let alone 700 subscribers. Told me I wouldn't last longer than 2 or 3 months, and here we are, well into a whole another season. The family has grown strong. We have a membership, almost 80. We're about to break a record in our members group. We're about to have 80 members in our family and several subscribers, cousins. I call you all cousins, you know what I'm saying? So it's growing. But people need to understand, I always say taper expectations, but you have to take action, right? We've seen several times in history or in the past where actions have exceeded what they should have been needed in order to create change, and yet change was very incremental or nothing at the best, and that's unfortunate. And what I mean by that, you could take a pure example of looking at human rights, all right, women rights, even black rights. Like you look at that from the time that these egregious acts started, the disrespectful notion started, the murders, the killings, the everything that you want to look at, and then you look at now, and then you ask yourself, have you seen the amount of progress that we should have seen as humankind, as humans? No, we say that the progress does not equal up to the time that passed to be where we should be. And that's one thing I credit to our environment and our community here. Like minds, we respect each other. We love each other. We love to see people do good. We like to see all of that. So the petition itself, we don't know if they're going to pay attention to it, but we need the numbers so they pay attention to it. And as you see here, they're saying that likely once you reach these goals, certain avenues will pick it up. Now, unnecessarily, it may not be a news broadcast station that picks this up, okay? But in our community, in the Formula One community, in the motorsports community, another platform that's bigger than Wolfpack could pick it up and take notice that, yo, there's a petition building for the FIA to do the right thing for Formula One as a motorsports whole, okay? We're seeing several reports come out. What's going on, Galacticus? What's going on, Condu? What's going on, everybody? We're seeing several reports come out that are saying that now other teams would like to know this figure, right? They want to know what this number is because other teams would like to know if Red Bull gets away with overspending, okay? And let's come on, let's be honest. A lot of people are hating on Twitter, they hating on YouTube, they gonna do what they gotta do. They rarely will take action even for their own team that they support, other than coming to our community, coming to the comment section, coming into the lives, because they don't have a platform that's built for that. So they come here. But be for real. Let's not act like they haven't had the time to move money around to try to make it make sense or to try to fit it in within it being legal so they don't get a punishment. They're already opening up these doors. But what also is starting to happen is other teams want to know these figures. Why? So that they can know how much they can overspend and not be penalized. See, FIA and Formula One got a bigger situation building right now, right? You're not going to be able to tell all these other teams that have just as smart as accountants, just as smart representatives, just as smart marketing team, all right, just as smart senior and executives in their organizations that know better. So if the FIA and Formula One do not penalize Red Bull for breaching the cost cap, then now you have opened the floodgates for other teams that have bigger means and better resources to say to themselves, like, okay, now we know we are able to go over $5 million and then not be penalized or lose our championship or lose any constructive points in that season. That's what you call opening Pandora's box. That's what you call going down a slippery slope. You can't say we're not penalizing Red Bull. This is not a situation like we're talking about Aston Martin with their wing development, or even Mercedes with their DOS development, or Red Bull with their beam wing change up. This is not that. This is something completely different. See, the difference is Aston Martin came out with a wing that incorporated said design that was similar to end plate. And now FIA and the stewards, everybody's reviewed it and said it won't be allowed next season, but they're allowed to run it this season. Same situation happened with DOS. I mean, go back to Williams when they had active suspension. How many cars on the grid had active suspension? And at some point in time, that also went away. That's not the same thing we're talking about here. We're talking about a team who knew what the ceiling was as far as what you could spend in a season on said areas or categories, who knew what the exclusions were, and they overspent. Now, we're still waiting for the official report, and it's not very confident, or it's not very, how should I say, motivating to know that they're talking about they're not going to reveal this number. So if Red Bull do not get punished as outlined in the cost cap breach rules, which we have already went over, championship points, driver deduction points, less time in the wind, all these things, the world, the grid, the teams, the drivers, the principals, the owners, us as spectators, do not expect for you to then penalize another team who breaches the cost cap by said amount if you're not going to do it now. All right, so let's even further look into some of these other things that have happened. And this is just going to be something else that I'm going to point out as a problem. So as of right now, the petition itself, if I go ahead and refresh it, the petition itself, as you see right here, has gone up to 1973, 74, 75, 75, okay, 76, and still growing. We are looking for a goal of 2,500 signatures. Now, please be mindful. You do not have to spend any money in order to sign the petition, all right? That is something that comes after, and if that's something you want to donate to one of their causes or whatever it may be, 1987. As you see, it is constantly growing right now as we sit on here. That is something that you do not have to necessarily do. Do not be confused to think that you can't sign the petition without spending money. You don't have to spend any money, okay, on the petition. You can sign the petition without any financial contribution to change.org or the petition itself. This is about showing the world, at least continuously, we're not going to stand for these debacles and just let it go by without it being noticed. Maybe it changes something, maybe it doesn't, but how can you win if you don't play, right? How can you win if you don't play? Good morning, Sylvia. Good morning, Mary. Y'all been putting in work. You, Dave, Mary, y'all been putting in work. A lot of you been putting in a lot of work, retweeting, resharing the whole petition, and I really appreciate that, because that's about taking action, right? We're trying to take it a step further than just making comments, take it a step further than just being mad. So let's look at this. Let's go to this next thing I want to pay attention to. We're going to go to the situation right now with Gasly. So this is the penalty they issued Gasly. Now let's take a look at this. So Gasly issued this penalty, 1,408 hours, speeding under red flag conditions. Now, I want you to note the offense that they noted here, Article 57.2 of the sporting regulation, all right? Keep that in mind. The decision, drive-through penalty imposed after the end of the race, he will have to do a 20 seconds added to his elapsed race time, all right? So he's going to have to do that. So I don't know if they're going to give him the option when he drives through. Will he be able to serve 20 seconds in the pit lane before they can touch the car? Or will he just go ahead and drive depending on where he is on the grid and just take that 20-second penalty? Especially if he's out of points, it really won't matter. But the one thing that does matter is they gave him 2 penalty points, which makes 9 on his super license within this 12-month period. Okay, so now he has 9. You can only get up to 12 before you are suspended for a competition, and then that. So we will go into that as well, how that works. I would just give kind of like a surface level for those who may not understand the points and how it affects the license and how it affects the drivers and the teams. We'll go into another video on that. But coming down right here, and let me make sure I'm not missing anybody on super chats. I'm bad with that. There we go. Ricky Jr. See, I knew it was coming. I got y'all. Ricky Jr., big ups. Let me turn my caps on. I like to be loud. You know, people say I like to yell. Sylvia Kelly, you can donate or share the petition. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you. And this is why I keep a solid team. Sylvia, J Starship, and Racer X definitely assist me in trying to keep things going. By the way, it's likely I'm going to check the votes for the Discord group. And if we're up there, then I'll go ahead and start that coming up probably post this weekend or next weekend. Big ups. See Mary Beanie loving her honey bun, the honey bun emoji. That was definitely saluted to her on that. So let's go back into the information. So yeah, the stewards heard from the driver of car, Pierre Gasly, of course. Now I'm gonna read this, and then I want to point out what I think is evidently missing and what we haven't seen in social media. All right, what at least I haven't. If anybody's seen it, let me know. Okay, some information I missed. I'm doing a lot of things, but let me know. It says after passing the scene of the incident, car 10 Gasly continued under the red flag situation at speeds which exceeded 200 kilometers an hour on multiple occasions, at which reached 251 kilometers an hour at one point. The driver conceded that he now understood that there could have been marshals or obstacles on the track, and admitted that he was too fast. Okay, so right here, Gasly has taken. Now, remember, Gasly was pretty emotionally disturbed by this entire event. If you all remember the visibility on track was not great by any means. It was not great by any means. Visibility was not great by any means. It was really low. What's up, Patrick Edwards? What's up, Reezy? Ricky Jr., what's going on? Family up here. It was not great, okay? So we got Gasly now taking responsibility for his portion as a driver, which he should. A Condu signed and donated. Make our voices heard at FI. Thank you very much, Condu. Big shout out. Big shout out for even taking that further step. But please, everybody understand, you don't have to take that step. Like Sylvia said, you can also just sign and share, okay? And sharing is just as good as a contribution as donating, because you're putting it in front of other people as well. If you do both, that's even better. That's super, okay? So we have Gasly taking responsibility, conceding that he now knows that there were marshals and an obstacle, which is the tractor on track. Okay, and admits that he was going too fast. So that's what we got. Now, remember, they said Article 57.2, all right? Now, we're going to look at that. Now, let's continue to go down. However, now, I'm also going to point this out. I'm also going to show this because we're going to be transparent. Also, if we remove this and look at this, this is Gasly's steering wheel. If you notice, he does have a red flag indication on the steering wheel, all right? He's got that red flag indication. He's got that LED lit, showing him that the track conditions are red flagged. That is there, okay? Gasly has accepted responsibility. Big shout out to Gasly, although heavily emotionally involved, and rightfully so, because he is correct in what he said. His life could have been taken, and the marshal's life could have been taken that was on track. And I'm going to come back to that, all right? I'm going to come back to that. So now we're going to come into this. Down here further, however, in mitigation of penalty, we take into, now listen, we, FIA, we take into account, our stewards, that although the speed not by any measure by regarded as slow, a shot at gasoline, as required in regulations, it was slower that the maximum speed that could be achieved under these conditions. We, the stewards, FIA, also take into account the shock the driver experienced on seeing a truck on the racing line in the corner of the incident. We also take into account the shock the driver experienced on seeing a truck on the racing line in the corner of the incident. People, let's look at this. We're going to look at this. 57.2. When the signal is given, overtaking is forbidden. Pit exit will be closed, and all cars must proceed slowly into the pit lane. The first car that arrives in the pit lane should proceed directly to the pit exit, staying in the fast lane, which is the lane to the left. All the other cars should form up in a line behind the first car. Okay. I mean, if we really gonna keep everything 100, is that what Gasly's being penalized for? Is Gasly being penalized for entering the pit in a fashion that's not outlined here? Is he being penalized for going past the pit lane entrance multiple times before entering? Because this article 57.2, which is what they quoted, right? 57.2 says nothing about speed. But, you know, maybe they are referencing other articles that they just chose not to outline in the actual paperwork and documentation that they issued for the reason why they were penalizing Gasly. But one thing I do realize in here that is missing, let me tell you what's missing. What's missing is the acceptance of the responsibility on behalf of the FIA and the stewards. That truck in those conditions was nowhere near lit up or identifiable as it should have been if they, which they are in charge of the safety of the track and the drivers, as it should have been. Why did they not say that in there? They want to say that we acknowledge the shock the driver experienced. Why didn't you say that we acknowledge that other protocols or processes need to be updated and revised so that in these conditions, the drivers can be more aware and tractors are more visible to drivers in these conditions? Where is the responsibility or the acceptance of responsibility for them in here? They were willing to say that they understand the shock the driver experienced. That's not accepting any type of responsibility. You do have a responsibility in this. Not only that, but you had a live human being, a marshal, on track in these low visibility conditions without a vest with a beacon light or something on it. I mean, in those conditions, they should have some type of flashing beacon light on them that is clearly visible. If the marshal had that on his body, on his persons, I didn't see it. I couldn't even see it with the high resolution 4K TV that I am watching the race in. So I know if I couldn't see it, Gasly wasn't able to see it because he's got drops all over his visor. He's got all the, come on now. 083, big shout out. Big shout out. Thank you, Silver Killer, for taking care of that. Where is their acceptance of where is their statement of them saying, hey, we as the governing body understand that we missed it or dropped the ball in said conditions like this? I mean, you canceled Pirelli's tire test because the conditions weren't acceptable. How is it that you're not stepping up like you're saying? Gasly, you clearly outlined in this statement that Gasly accepted not only responsibility for his lack of awareness that a person and tractor was on the track, which, I mean, how is his awareness is really dedicated on what you have allowed him to be aware of. It's dependent on his awareness is dependent on what you do. If the tractor was lit well more than it was, he would have been aware. If the marshal on track was highly visible in response to those conditions, he would have been aware. That is the responsibility of the FIA and the governing body. But they didn't put their portion in this write-up. They didn't say anything about we understand that we need to do better as far as making things more visible. They didn't say anything about we need to make things more safe under these type of conditions, these environments, these elements. We understand that these environments, this weather, rendered the drivers with less visibility than we anticipated. They didn't say anything to them taking responsibility. So then I ask you, do you think I'll rephrase my question that I didn't even put out there. I ask you, how much confidence should we have in this governing body to do the right thing when they can't even accept responsibility for something like this? But you give a driver 2 penalty points and a 20-second penalty, which I'm not saying for his actions maybe he should have received. But what about your actions or lack thereof of actions? Big shout out, Donnie, Clinton, RC. Oh, Clinton DRC. What's up? Thank you, Sylvia Campbell. Take care. That is what I'm saying here. This is evidence. These are breadcrumbs that don't give us confidence in them doing the right thing. All right? It doesn't. It really doesn't. 57.2 said nothing about speeding. Now, I'm not saying that another article in relations to red flagging doesn't say anything about speed. Just like we know under the VSC, 40% reduction in speed or no more than 40% maximum speed. We know under safety car kind of governs the speed no further back than 10 paces if the first car. We know that. But what I'm saying is, why didn't you include these in the article so that we can go and look at the articles in which you're finding him by? Because you're clearly just outlining speed. But 57.2 doesn't say anything about speed. Does it? Does it say anything about speed? Because I didn't see anything about speed. 57.2, when the signal is given, overtaking is forbidden. You can't overtake, so we know that. That's under safety cars, VSCs as well. Pit exit will be closed. Okay, that's pit exit, back onto the track. That's going to be closed. All cars must proceed slowly into pit lane. The first car to arrive in the pit lane should proceed directly to the pit exit, staying in the fast lane, furthest lane to the left, not going into the box. All other cars should form up in a line behind the first car. None of that is in relation to what you find Gasly by. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it's not in there. I'll go in there and check it. But when I go to 57.2, if I'm a viewer and a spectator, and I say, okay, let me look at 57.2 and see, what the speed is. Let me see what he should not be going faster than. Let me see if it's only 40% of maximum speed. Let me see that. But when I go to 57.2, you don't get any of that. Be more specific. Just like we're telling you, you need to be more transparent when it's coming to this cost cap situation. That's what we are saying. Be more transparent when it's coming.
If you fraudulently breach the financial regulations, you will be losing your championship.
I'm just saying, on top of be more transparent, why don't you do what you say you were going to do? Evidently, I'm just saying it like it is, the cost cap being breached, and Ross Brawn must have teeth made out of gummy bears. Ross Brawn must have dentures made out of gummy bears. So he don't have real teeth, and his dentures got gummy bears for teeth, because we haven't seen any real teeth when it's coming to this cost cap situation. We haven't seen it. Have you seen them? We haven't seen it just yet. We've seen all types of situations that are going to say that indeed they're going to get away with it. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing situations that are going to say they're going to get away with it. And if they're going to get away with it, that means they're not going to see any of these penalties. They're not going to see the deduction of constructor championship points. They're not going to see the deduction of driver championship points. They're not going to see the suspension of one or more competitions. We're not going to see any of that. That is what that's saying. That's what it's saying to us. We can't even trust them to take advantage. Oh, hold on. I see you. I missed that. I got you. No, I got you. No, Automate Tanny. Anyone surprised at the incompetence of this FIA? No, not at all. And it's just proving more and more, not to mention their minions. I have been watching for a long time what she has. She's been watching For all you that get in here in these comment section and want to try to come at people like Nall that's been watching this sport, you probably only been watching for like 5, even a decade. Nall been watching for a long time, although nobody should be criticizing anybody regardless at what point in time they picked up Formula One, because the sport is dead without new re-entrants and re-emergence of new fan bases. That is a fact. Also, I have been watching for a long time, not sure have seen F1 governance in such disarray. This is a whole new level of colossalness. I'm trying to tell you, she right. This is crazy. This is crazy. And like I said, and I'm telling you, like I said, and I'm telling you, they're going to have to do better. If Red Bull is not penalized, now we're still waiting, right? We're still waiting for all this to come out. Now, also, I would also like to say, and I'm going to put his face up here. I'm going to put his face up here because I believe I still got a board with him saved up here. I'm going to put his face up here. I would like to also say, where is Bonotto? Where's Bonotto? Big shout out to Ocon. Got a new teammate, Pierre Gasly. Hopefully everything goes good with that. Big shout out to Gasly going to Alpine. Good job on the contract. Big shout out to Nick DeVries. That clip just loaded up. I don't know why I loaded up, but it did. But hey, where's Bonotto? Where is he? I remember he was talking big shit. Market's open in 3 minutes from now. The stock market will be open. Now my alarm goes off for that every day. I got to check my positions. Where is he? He was talking big stuff. Now, it's funny. We do this petition, right? We do the petition, and people criticize the petition, but yet they not willing to do anything. So, I mean, what do you think Bonotto and Ferrari are doing when they go ahead and put up that they're going to try to protest this? That's a petition. That's a protest. That's what they want to do, to try to say they want it to be the right thing. But they got to come out a lot louder than they are. Like on some real talk, I expect for these teams, these team principals, to really start making a groundswell, because more than us, they are close to the epicenter to really make a change. I mean, why don't you throw a temper tantrum like Red Bull does when they want to try to, say they're going to take their teams off the grid, their teams. 2 teams they got, AlphaTauri and Red Bull. 4 cars they got on grid. It was Yuki, Gasly, Perez, and Max. That need to be broken up too. So where Ferrari need to be real loud about this. I mean, it does look contradictory to what they went through, but still, if we trying to move on, that's what people also got to understand. Big shout out to Mimi. There is nothing minor about a minor overspend. Mimi, I'm telling you, it doesn't need to be a minor or major. It just need to be a breach. Because think about it. You got to listen, the major 5. Do I still have the documentation up here so I can show you all that? Because I like to make sure I show my receipts. I like to make sure I show the information, because I believe that it says 5% or less. Let's look at this. All right, so here we go. Check this out. Materials overspend is considered a major overspend. It says 5% or more. All right, 5% or more. Then you go to what they consider a minor overspend. It says less than 5%. Yo, can we stop playing around? Can we stop playing around and stop acting like we don't know that they just creating gray areas so they can mix and match? 5% or less, 5% or more. Why is just not a breach? You know the number. It's $145 million that we are allotting you to spend up to before you breach within this season. What is this 5% or more, 5% or less? If you breach $145 million, you breached. Period. You breached. We don't care. We don't care if it's $50 over, $100 over. If you breached, you breach. You better do everything in your power to make sure that your expenditures are at 145 or less, not more. We ain't worried about nothing else. If you breach, you breach. And a breach penalty is outlined as so. That's what needs to happen. Like, that keeps all the fugaziness out of the game. But you notice they don't want to do that. They've already thought about these things. So they put these little nuances in here so that they can leave themselves wiggle room so that they can then manipulate or decide what they want to do and if they have an interest to do something other than what should be done. That's what that is. That's what's going on right now. This shouldn't take this long. They turned their documents in. Just like Williams, their documents were submitted late. Boom, came right out, right? Then next thing you know, they paying the penalty. Okay, boom, it's done. This should be out. You turned in your books. You turn in your finances. Don't give us anything about you put said money in the wrong place. No, what y'all did was you gave them time to move money around. Then they moved it somewhere they thought might have been an exclusion. Came out, it wasn't exclusion, so now you don't want to reveal the figure. Why is it that we can't even know how much money they went over by? Why is it that these other teams can't know? I mean, if you don't want to tell the spectators, you could tell the teams and the principals. I mean, they should know. Why shouldn't they know how much money over their competitors spent in order to have an advantage over them? That's what I want to know. If Charles going over a corner is gaining an advantage and you can issue him after the race in the cool-down room a 5-second penalty that changes the outcome of Max getting the championship earlier than he was because he was going to get it anyway. That's just a fact. But you issued that penalty of Charles gaining an advantage on Perez, which he was lightweight in front. But we're having an issue giving Red Bull the penalty for gaining an advantage by overspending more than their competitors. Does that make sense? Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Nall, I see you. Musk reporting the CCA having issues with how Newey's role and salary were reported. There are some serious shenanigans going on behind closed doors. No, big shout out to you. Let me give you your props. That is a very good point, and let me kind of elaborate on that. All right, so listen. It's been said from like financial people that are in the space, right, about how Red Bull can shift money, put it into salary and our payments or whatever the case is. If that's done for a said position, there's salary ranges for every position out here. There are hourly pay ranges for every job that's out here, okay? We know this. It's a pay scale. We know what the average on the low and high end is. If I look at somebody's salary and it is insurmountable in comparison to other salaries, it is like enormous in comparison to other salaries on the grid from other teams, even close rivaling teams, that's got to be a red flag of what has deemed this person to earn this, although I'm not about keeping nobody from getting the bag, but what has deemed this person to have this amount of a salary that is definitely not common amongst this industry and that position. I gotta wonder. So if let's say engineers and Adrian Newey's position on other teams, especially compete, let's just say McLaren, Aston Martin, and Mercedes and Ferrari, right? Let's just say those teams, because those are teams that are closely in competition bubble realm to Red Bull, right? If Adrian Newey's position brings about 750,000, let's just say that. Matter of fact, let's say 750,000. Let's say $500,000. Let's say 500,000 a year. Let's just make it an even good number. And then we look at Adrian Newey and he making $1 million, a 1.5 million. Wait a minute. I know he great. I know he great at what he do. But 1.5 million, okay, 2 million. All right, that don't throw a red flag. Like, I mean, even in the department of where you highly competing in, I'm just saying there's ways for them to kind of evaluate that. Now, that also may be a very foggy area to say to a company about how much they value said employee and then awarding them or rewarding that employee with said amount of money that may be different from other people in other teams in those same positions. That also may be true, right? Just keeping it real. Like, if they feel like, yo, we want to keep this guy, unlike Williams. If you go back in history, Williams failed to retain Adrian Newey. Adrian Newey wanted a percentage of ownership with Williams. They didn't want to give that to him. But to be honest, maybe they should have. With the contribution that he brought to Williams, likely the contribution that Adrian Newey has brought to Red Bull, maybe that's the case. But also keep in mind this. Other teams Other teams lost or had to put employees out due to trying to stay under the cost cap. Yet Red Bull acquired those employees. So if those teams knew that I can squeeze y'all in, there's a certain amount that I can go over, I can breach the cost cap, and as a team, we won't suffer any penalty. Maybe they keep their employees, and maybe Red Bull don't get those employees. Red Bull was one of the first teams vouching, trying to get up for the cost cap while they were acquiring Mercedes employees, talking about, yeah, we got to try to get this money up. The economy's inflating, shipping costs inflating. How we going to pay these employees? You acquired more employees from other teams that had to lose employees due to trying to get that money down to stay under the cost cap. So is that not also unfair? Do those same employees go over to Red Bull if Mercedes is able to pay them rightfully so and not worry about breaching the cost cap? Just saying. There's a lot of stuff in that pot you got to consider. RBR would not want to fuel to cost 5% more than Mercedes. Hey, Galacticus, big shout out to you. Big shout out to you, bro. Big ups. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things here that need to be considered. So why should we not? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. I think we just got over 2,000. We just over 2,002. Right now we are at 2,002. Notice that 2,500, the next goal that likely could show that this petition is trending in order to be picked up for other media outlets. Now, the local news, I doubt it, right? But we're talking about other outlets within the Formula One world. And also keep this in mind. I'm not going to front about this. Also keep this in mind. People are going to knock what I have put out there. I've put a boat out there for you all's energy to go into, hopefully that it will go somewhere, right? Because we can spend a lot of time commenting and having this energy, but if it's not focused somewhere that could be productive, it won't go anywhere. So this is a vessel for productivity. This is a vessel that the energy can go into that will more likely be noticed. You think Formula One and FIA gonna really pay attention to your comments on Twitter? No, not really. Not unless your comment gets like 1 million something likes and retweets. But think about it. That's the point. If something gets a certain amount of traction in numbers, then yeah, they likely to pay attention to that because that's on a bigger scale. If this gets on a bigger scale and other platforms pick it up, bloggers, other news journalist type platforms pick it up and say, yo, this petition is out about Red Bull, the FIA needs to do the right thing. That's really the goal. That's really the goal. But it can't happen if it don't happen. If we don't get the numbers, it's not going to even be matter. We can still get the numbers, and maybe they still tell us to shove off. But that's still an indictment on them. Because in history, next in the future, people going to look like, damn, they had all these petitions that went out about what they did wrong, and they chose to ignore them. They said, screw the viewers, screw the teams. We're going to do what we want to do. That's something they're going to have to answer to eventually. And as you see, things are mounting on that. Big shout out to everybody participating. I really appreciate all the positive energy. People have been sending big ups to you. Much respect to you. But this is something that we're going to talk about and that I'm going to continue to do because that's what I'm about here on my platform. I'm not about what's going to get me the most likes or the most views or what's going to make me the most like. I'm about what's really trying to do what's right, and I'm going to speak my heart on it. I'm going to speak my opinion on it. And when I'm wrong, if I'm wrong and people show me I'm wrong and I review information that says I was wrong, I've done it before. I'll come back and be like, okay, I was incorrect on this. This is actually what it is. It happens. I watch live journalists on TV get things wrong all the time. I've seen live bloggers that are professionals in the space that are literally at the press conference of Formula One post a blog and post a report or an article, and this shit misspelled in the article. Mistakes happen. You think I care about that? No, I don't care about you pointing out my mistakes. I only care that I acknowledge your mistake and then I grow from there. The moment I stop caring about being better, that's a problem. That's when I know it's time for me to hang it up. If I stop caring about being better, if I stop caring about doing more research to make sure I'm right, if I stop caring about growing my acumen for Formula One, then I know it's time to hang it up. But I ain't there. I'm always going to be willing to keep growing, keep learning. Even from you all in the comment section. Keep growing and keep learning. That's why I tell you all, instead of posing a hate comment or being facetious or being sarcastic, post information into the comment section that you're referring to show people what's right instead of trying to down them. I got a bunch of idiots that do that on Twitter. And it's funny to me, really, I'd be laughing. Because really they admire. They wouldn't come comment if they wasn't taking notice. They take notice and then they want to comment because they really be like, oh, damn, this dude getting, yeah, you right, I'm getting up. No, Automane, it takes a lot of me to use insults, and it's here. Can these more journalists stop saying it's unfair to Max if the championship is taken from him? What is we drop? Hey, no. Thank you, Sylvia Kelly, for taking care of that. She big. Hey, she doing a great job. Sylvia, you doing a great job. Listen, it's not unfair if they take the championship from Max. People, oh my gosh. It would not be unfair if they took the championship from any driver or team if in the season you competed, you broke rules that led you to even have that. First of all, Max shouldn't even have the 2021 championship because we already know what took place there was wrong in the governing body, in the marshal, in the stewards, in Massey and Michael Massey and what he did under pressure and advisement of Red Bull. We clearly heard Christian Horner pressing him to break the rules on live television. You need one more lap, but you need one more lap underneath the rules if it's correct. Yes, we said we were going to end this race under red flag conditions. We were going to end it in green, but that doesn't mean you break the rules. It could have, listen, all they had to do last season, if they wanted to try to keep it as legit as possible, is say, you know what? Don't change the grid. We're not unlapping the cars. Y'all want one more racing lap. We're going to race as they sit. Everybody who earned the positions of where they are up until this point, that's where you're going to have to finish this final lap. If you can work through the grid, Max, like you were already going to have to, then you can do it. But if we're going to unlap these cars, we're going to unlap all of the cars. Not only the cars between Max and Lewis, all of the cars that Lewis Hamilton passed. All the cars that the race leader has overtaken are lapped. All the cars that the race leader has lapped, which was 7, not just 5 between Max and Lewis, need to unlap themselves. No, just off that alone, the 2021 championship should have been Lewis Hamilton's because we already know factually that was incorrect. Not only incorrect, but inappropriate. Either that or you end the race under the safety car. What are we talking about? Anticlimactic? No, we talking about legit right. That's what we talking about. I got your super chats. I'm about to read them right now. Big shout out to Tan. Big shout out to you. I told my wife last year F1 is very lucky USA isn't too big on the sport. And this, I was just speaking to this yesterday. I was just telling somebody this yesterday how the American market could be when it comes to sports. Because what they did to Lewis and how Max and Red Bull went over the cap, black people and leftists would have boycotted the sport, so F1 is lucky. They are not. Listen, I was just telling somebody yesterday, I wish that America was as passionate about human rights, black rights, women rights, LGBTQ rights, all these rights as they were about sports, because we do not play about sports. Go do your research. Like, once you out in sports and it's about competition, oh, you done. You are done. You are done. If America was up to hip on game as Formula One as they are trying to get it to, which might be a double-edged sword for Formula One, you're going to see go look at the video. 2 guys just tried to cheat in a bass fishing tournament. They just tried to cheat in a bass fishing tournament by putting lead weights into the fish. Go look at the surrounding competitors and the spectators on how they reacted. That's what you get in American sports. Also, you get the fact that they whiteball Colin Kaepernick for taking a positive stand on human rights, but that's also what you get in the sport. I keep it real. I'm not gonna hold you. Big shout out, Tan. Eric TB4 message to Eric TB4. What was your message? Oh, we can't delete messages as super chats. If Eric paid for his knowledge, we gotta let that fly. We gotta let that go. So Eric TB4, I will definitely please put in what your message was in the chat and I will read it. Where's Eric's message? All right, we gotta let Eric back in there for real. So big shout on that, Eric. I apologize on that. We'll make sure we make good. Get with me. Let me know what your message or your super chat was, and I'll read that. We definitely can't delete people's super chat. If they want to pay to hear their voice heard, we got to let them be heard. If they put regular comments in there that get too crazy, then we definitely can do that. But Eric TB4, been here contributing, been here active. Let me know what your comment was, and I will read it on the next live and go from there. Also, built 2JZ Lexus. Liberty Media has interest in Honda. Why are they okay taking the title from Lewis, but don't want to take it from Max? That's a good question. That's a double standard. That's what they doing. Sylvia not playing no games today. She's serious. She up right. She's serious. Hey, let me see. What's the next one? Tan. Great minds think alike. Facts, bro. Facts, Tan. That's no lie. Big hurtification. What's going on, E? The BS was in play when they used the word minor. Facts. We just covered that. Financial breach. The decision was already made. They're just looking for justification now. No, they looking for, justification would be them being proven to be right. Right? They're looking for a reason to evade justice. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for something, a cloak that they can take and put over our eyes and use it as a reason of why they were able to do so. Because justice is not what they're doing. What they're doing is criminal to the sport. And it's detrimental to hurting the sport. Big facts. So we gonna see what happens. He put up that Mercedes worked through the 2019 break again. He trolling. Big facts, Sylvia. But hey, dear Sylvia, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, Sylvia didn't get the name Sylvia Wick for no reason. I'm just being honest. Like, Sylvia Wick is, you know who John Wick is? Okay, I ain't got to say no more. Sylvia Wick ain't about the games. But me and my team definitely work hard to make sure everybody gets an even shot. Let him troll. And especially if he feels that passionate about the troll, if that's how Eric feels and he want a super chat for the troll, let him troll it. Go ahead. We gonna have those people here, team. We know that. Samaj, what's going on? Keep going, Wolfpack. I'm so happy to see the platform continue to grow. Sending peace and blessing to everyone this morning. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Big shout out. Y'all say what y'all want about my moderators. Say what you want. But my team's solid. My team is solid. My team is legit. And my team is passionate about what they do and what they watch and what they support. So you say what you want about my squad, but I protect my family and my team. That's Sylvia Wick, which is Sylvia Kelly, Jay Starship, and Racer X210. And anybody else that you see in green, I'm telling you, that's the fam. All the subscribers, y'all part of the family too. Say what y'all want about my community, but they legit. They passionate about this shit, no doubt. Big facts. And they not with it. Trust me, we grow as a team and as a community. Trust me, we grow. So there, Eric, cool. You do what you do. But Sylvia Wick got her name for a reason. Just saying. Big shout out to Samad, 4 months in the family. And we got Tan. Got the F1 app. I've been watching 2020 season mostly. Yo, that's another thing. If you got the Formula One app, are you not a revenue stream for Formula One? Are you not contributing to the product of Formula One? Are you not an ad? Yes. So why is it that people want to laugh at a petition? I mean, laugh if you want to, but It just says that we are not taking the BS and just letting it go unheard. 2005 as we sit. I'll refresh the page and see what we up to. 2005 as we sit. And right now, what? We'll end up going up. 1997, which was a good year for certain things. 2000, it keeps 2001, 2002, 2003. Let's see what it goes up to. 2004. And you can see the names right down there scrolling. 2005. Big shout out, Preston Hart. 2007. Phil Wheatley. I seen him in there. There we go. 2010. Listen, the list growing. You see that. It's right before your eyes. It's not a game. It's growing. The petition real. People want the cost cap bull crap to stop. People want the cost cap bull cap to stop. They want it to stop right now. The cost cap bull crap got to stop. When we get to 2,500, we on the next goal, and we're going to go to the next goal. I'm hoping this grow to, I ain't even lying. I'm hoping it grow 100,000 strong. 100,000 strong. Big facts. You mean to tell me there's not at least 100,000 people that's not feeling over the course of time and history? Listen to me. Y'all misunderstanding me. It don't matter about what team you support. It doesn't matter. This is where it boiled over for me. Trust me, I seen the center situation with pros. I didn't agree with how they penalized center. I didn't agree with that. I seen all that. I seen what Michael Schumacher did to Damon Hill in that race. I didn't agree with that. That wasn't respectful. This is where we come, and it keeps getting worse and worse. And now, I seen the whole damn crash gate. That was crazy disrespectful to the sport. So if you look through the course of time, it's not about your team right now. It just so happens that Red Bull's on the hot seat again for the same season again, which should further be more information to you now that something needs to be done. This is my boiling point. Yo, when is it going to be enough? You don't have to be a Mercedes fan. You don't have to be a McLaren fan. You don't have to be a Red Bull fan. You got to be a fan of the sport. And if you ask yourself, is this cool for the sport for future drivers that are going to come up through the ranks? Is this cool for the sport for future spectators and viewers to see this and be cheated in the future? If your answer is no or not really or it's questionable, you should be signing a petition because it's not right. Y'all trying to make it a Mercedes versus Red Bull thing so you can take one side of the fence, but that's really not you on the blade of grass in this field. The real game is being played between the FIA and us. The FIA and what's right for the teams on the grid. That's where the real controversy is. So if there has been any point in time in history that you have been watching Formula One and the FIA, the stewards, the race director have done something that you know damn well was wrong or incorrect and not right, that's why you're signing the petition for your voice to be heard on a different level. Come on now. Y'all really don't, people really don't know who they dealing with when they dealing with Jay or Wolfpack for real. I know y'all see me make jokes and fun of certain things like I did with the cost cap catering stuff, but on some real talk, behind these eyes, a lot of things working. Call me a moron if you want. Dismiss me if you want. Disrespect me if you want. Okay, we gonna see. We gonna see what happens. I'm still gonna be here. The world is not as big as you think. Formula One races, there's only so many in the world. Might be at one. Might be at one. You might be at. And a lot of times what's funny is because my face is here, you'll know who I am. But you might not say a damn thing. You'll walk right by. Say something later, maybe. I feel you. I understand. Trust me, I know how it go. I know how it go. I know how it is. Let me see. Jefferson, big shout out. Miss you, fam. You ain't been around in a minute. Even $1,000 over the budget's cheating in the sport where 100th of a second matters. That's putting it in perspective. Appreciate that. Cheating is cheating. The FIA's favoritism will hurt F1. Thank you. Thank you. No team reference. It's just straight facts. removing the teams, remove the liveries, remove the driver name tags, remove the driver numbers. What Jefferson is speaking exactly to what I am talking about. The sport, the integrity, the future. What do we want it to look like? What do you want it to look like? Greetings to everybody joining the chat. So you see it's growing. It is really factually growing right now before your eyes. Now, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people said we wouldn't even get 200 signatures. We 10 times that already. 10 times that already and still growing. Trust me, we're going to hit the 2,500, but we do need more than that. Just being honest with you. We need way more than that for there to be even a ripple of effect of an impact in a large body of water that we are throwing a pebble into. I'm being really serious. We need more than that. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Big shout out to you joining me this morning. So in closing with that, Samaj Imagery, hey Wolfpack, are you pulling up to my city for COTA? Somebody asked me that, and I'm telling you right now, I am considering it, depending on where the car build is. Also, depending on what I have cooking right now with said specific organization that is already doing something for COTA that really requires me to be here, which I can't speak on right now. One, because it's not all completely finalized. Well, it's finalized, but it's not finished. And we're still trying to make sure that certain people can make certain times and dates. So I can't speak on it. I can't mention names. I can't mention entities. I can't do any of that. So right now, we've been already in talks this morning. So it might not be possible for me to be at COTA. But if this thing ain't right, by the time the weekend shake, if we ain't moved on it, then I am looking to come to COTA for that day. So if I do, Samaj, I'm going to post up and let you know that I'm in the house, that I'm there. So, definitely we got to get together on that. So I already know, hit you up for the content. Yep, bro. See, I know you said, I ain't forgot, bro. I don't be forgetting. Trust me. Nilly also hit me up and asked me if I was going to be there. Now, supposedly there's going to be a support group there for Lewis Hamilton. I mean, if there are other support group there for drivers, I'm pretty sure you could join those as well. But she let me know that. And also, before I forget, let me say this right now. I'm glad I looked this up. Ernie Simmons. Let me go to the message. I didn't forget, man. I try to keep it. Hell yeah. She told me, hell yeah, please do. I'm finna hit her back. I indeed will. So I'm gonna hit her back for that. So let me go to Ernie Simmons. I think you hit me up on Twitter. If not, let me find your message real quick because I know you got with me. There's something I want to let you all know in regards to Ernie Simmons. You see him quite a bit here in the chat. He is a big supporter of the Wolfpack family. So let me make sure that I definitely make good on what I told him. Ernie Simmons, here you go. So yes, Ernie Simmons currently has his own petition of 1,000 people that have signed his petition already as of 18 hours, which would have been more hours ago. It's called 1A petition to strip Max if at possible. Is it all right? So he wanted to know if it was all right, and I told him I would not get with you all on that. So Ernie Simmons has a petition of his own going, and if you would like to also partake in that petition, his petition is directed a bit more and focused on stripping Max of the championship. If that's something that you're in favor of, go over there, check out his petition, and sign that up. Also, Ernie Simmons, I give you, if we're on a live, and you wanted to post that link for that petition for others to participate in, feel free. But I did tell him I would mention that, and so I have. And big shout out to you. Big shout out to everybody else. So, yes, I am also considering that if I can, without doing everything I'm involved with right now, go to COTA. I'm supposed to actually be going to pick up the car parts right now to drop them off to powder coat because the car is up on jacks, and I'm doing this instead. So that's a lot. But, yeah, there you go. 1A petition. D1, just put it in there. That's the name of the petition. Get with Ernie Simmons on that if that's something you want to do. Big shout out to Ernie Simmons, big supporter, and we're going to keep rolling. So that's where we are. I big shout out. D-Town. Tan, you out of D-Town? Bro, I grew up in Fort Worth for a little bit of time, bro. I spent a lot of time there as a kid, man. Also during the summers in Fort Worth, Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas. Big facts. Over there in the DeSoto area as well. Trust me, your boy homegrown, for real. They don't be knowing, but if I have my shirt off, you see it. You see it. You see my piece. Trust me. I'm Texas homegrown. Big facts. Eric Kuros going to DM you on IG, dislike getting banned for saying what I think with proof. The money for the chat still go to Joshua. We already had a meeting with that. The money that we talked about, and the Wolfpack family is having a meeting on that was already given for that episode. We stopped at that episode for a reason, and we are having a meeting about that, and we are going to see what's up. I already going to talk to Mike. That's something that we'll go forward with. But yes, the money for the GP race that you saw that had Joshua's trailer that I put on there, that money has already been set aside and would be allocated. There is a meeting that the Wolfpack family is going to have, and a meeting that me and Mike are going to have that you are not privy to if you are not a Wolfpack member of said situations that are going on. So don't worry about my legitimacy or my solidness, bro. What I do is what I'm going to do, and anything that I make a move on will go forth. And another thing is this: the proof that the money will be put to good use, whether that be Joshua or something else, is what we will come out with. But trust me, the money that was allocated for that episode, which is where we had to stop for certain reasons, which I will tell you that so you know, that money for that episode will go toward Joshua unless Mike decides that we're going to do otherwise, and I will let it know where that money's going to go. But you ain't got to worry about me, bro. I'm solid. Trust me, I ain't going to let that bit of money ruin my reputation, or you ruin my reputation, which is obviously what you're trying to do with your super chat, trying to question me. Question me, that's fine, but my integrity stands still. Big facts on that. So yeah, we'll see all of what's going to go on. So we still wait for the information. Everybody, listen, people, y'all got to understand, people going to get in here and say and do everything they want to do. Everything they want to do. They going to say and do everything. And you want to know why they going to say and do everything in here? To try to disrespect you, try to spam, try to damn troll. They going to troll because they know who the most. These people are fans. Don't let them confuse you. These people are fans. Big shout out Reezy DeSoto. Shout out to him. These people are fans. These people admire. These people hate because they jealous about certain things. And they get in here and do their comments. That's fine. What they don't realize is they my fan. They my groupies. They are my groupies. Big facts. If they support what's wrong, but yet they still get in here, they nothing but groupies. And then that's what's going to happen. Like when you do spam type stuff like that, that Sylvia Kelly doing what she supposed to do. When you do spam type stuff like that, you just running up the spam, like you just taking up live chat space. And then think about this. You got to be a subscriber to the channel to even be in here, bro. So that means they subscribed, waited 5 minutes just to spam the channel. Come on, man. Like, y'all be for real. Like, trust, you got to do better than that if you're going to get at me. Like, real talks, big facts. You got to do better than that if you're going to get at me. So, yes, we're going to go into all that. And also, I'm going to set the meeting up for you all. We're going to have the meeting this Saturday. We're going to have the Wolfpack meeting this Saturday. Mike had to cancel our talk for this 13th, but we're going to set it up for this Saturday. So, yes, big shout out for that. All money for that episode that was going is collected and set aside for Joshua, and we will talk about it and see where we're going to go forward with that. As of right now, going forward, we won't have any more races that will be dedicated to Joshua for said reasons. And they're for good reasons. They're for good reasons. But the Wolfpack family knows what's up. And if you really want to be in the know and in the details of some of these situations or these decisions, join the family. Join the family. Just don't come with no foolishness, because trust me, you will get dealt with. That's just a fact. So big shout out to everybody joining. Guys that wait. I'm telling you, Sylvia Whitby on her job. Like, trust me. I'll take, hey, so every now and then you're going to have a casualty, but trust me, her target rate is high. Her target rate is high. She's unquestionably, undoubtedly, and not questioned by me. Facts. I'm going to do what I do, but trust me, she good with me. She going to be good with me. Like, trust me, you ain't going to hear nothing. These people really listen. Anyway, Formula One stuff, big support to everybody. Big shout out to everybody that's been in here. Big shout out to everybody for signing the petition. We're going to be moving forward with trying to do things. I really appreciate everybody. Y'all be safe. Have a great and awesome day. Sign the petition if you want your voice to try to be heard on a separate level. That's all it is, what we're trying to do. Put efforts on another vessel that may obviously get recognized more than just some type of Twitter post. We're trying to take it up another notch. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're still going to be waiting for all the details. We're still waiting for this figure. We're still waiting for this investigation that technically shouldn't be even taking this long, given they had all their documents in. But we're going to wait and see what they come up with. Taper your expectations. Don't be surprised if it's some foolishness. We done already, been there before. So just be cool with that. So exactly, there's a point, right? Race control, FIA, the stewards got to take responsibility for the safety of these drivers. So we'll do that. And well, hold on, wait a minute, wait. Oh, I got a report. I told y'all somebody will say nobody will sign a petition, and obviously they can't ask. So evidently this person hasn't even passed grade school mathematics. It says right here, factually, account 2,015 people have signed the petition. So why would you get on there and say something so damn dumb? That's what I'm talking about. That's why you can't pay attention to those people. They just say shit to say shit. Big shout out to Sean. Big shout out to Galacticus. All right, everybody. So listen, Wolfpack, we're going to see y'all. We're going to go live again. We're going to keep content coming. Trust me, new content will be coming out. We're going to be live this weekend. Wolfpack family members, we're going to be in the meeting again. Y'all be safe out here. Y'all stay positive. And all right, peace.